Good evening, my name is Noah Hota, and this is my presentation about trust. So one of my personal favorite analogies that I found while researching for this speech was that trust is like glue. Said by Stephen Covey, he's an author, and I really like it because I truly believe that the way that society and even the world in general is held together is by trust. Whether that be in the natural world, personal relationships, or in a professional setting. And so at the end of this, I'm going to talk about what exactly is trust, how do you identify it or find it in a professional or personal setting, and then why is it so crucial to you as an individual, but the people around you as well. So the way that I personally define trust is that it is a written or verbal agreement or commitment between two people that something is going to be committed or fulfilled. And so a sports analogy, I'm a big sports guy, is the trust between the offensive linemen have and their quarterback. So right off the rip, right, set hut, quarterback has the ball, he's standing in the pocket, he's scanning. He's not really looking at the defenders trying to essentially take his head off. He's trusting that the 5 people in front of him are there to protect him, put their body on the line for him. And in turn, they're going to be rewarded by the team scoring points and advancing down the field. And in a more practical sense, I liken it to going shopping. You go out, get a basket full of goods, throw it up on the counter, you hand over cash, credit, and you expect that the value of what you're handing over is equivalent to what you have in your basket. And on the flip side of that, the cashier is then going to take that and also believe the same thing. That, okay, what I'm receiving, whatever this value is in currency, is going to be equivalent to what I'm giving to this customer. And so that's essentially a basic rundown of how I would envision trust to be. So now how do you see that, or how do you identify that? And so one of the immediate things that I thought of was distrust. I think that's very easy to find. If you go into a workspace or a team environment, you can immediately ask people, hey, who do you not trust? Who do you not like? And they'll immediately come up with an answer because there are things that you can quickly identify in your own mind that leads you to a not trusting a person. However, I think it is a lot harder to build or find good trust. And so how would you look for trust in a professional environment? Me personally, environments where everyone's pulling for a same goal, like a common mission, common purpose, and have open communication with each other, oftentimes have a good trusting relationship between each other because the boss, whoever he or she may be, is open to their employees' input as well as the employees being open to whatever the boss is telling them because they trust that whatever the boss is telling them is good for the benefit of the company, business, or common goal. And so why is that important? Well, I like to use this analogy. It's a famous graph that was presented by Simon Sinek about Navy SEALs. And so the graph on the x-axis is trust, and then the y-axis is performance. So obviously, every person wants the high performer, high trust. Everybody wants that person. They're going to do a very good job, whatever the task may be. They're going to go out and execute. However, they're also, if you need them to communicate at a certain time and at a certain rate, they're going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to disseminate that information to their troops, and the troops are going to trust whatever decision that they make. And so on the flip side of that, you have a high performer with low trust. I personally think of Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street. I think it's kind of funny. He's incredibly good at what he does. He's able to sell stocks like there's no tomorrow, but he obviously a very toxic environment. His dad busts into his office. Jordan, why do we have a $240,000 bill from this restaurant and there's $20,000 on appetizers alone? Great performer, but if there's no communication between a coworker, boss, or in that vice versa, obviously there's going to be a breakdown. And so even in SEALs, incredibly high performers at what they do, counterterrorism, direct action, they'd rather take the person who has high trust, or sometimes even low performance and high trust, over the guy with high performance with low trust. And that's because you can train them up to be a better performer, but the intangibles that come with trust, it's a lot harder to instill that within someone. And so taking that from a military context, if you want to perform effectively as a group or in a team setting, finding people that you can trust with what they're doing or what you're asking of them is going to be far more crucial than the person who can do it very, very effectively, but it's going to listen to nobody and it's going to do their own thing. And so to conclude, just to re-hit on what I talked about, what is trust? Trust is the verbal or written commitment that one party makes to another that is expected to be fulfilled or committed. And then how do you see that in a workspace environment, or how do you find that is in an environment where communication is open and it is effective. People are listening to each other, whether it's positive or negative, it is being heard and is being felt. And then also, if it's all the people pulling for the same mission or common goal. I always find whenever I'm in a team, whenever the same goal is being strived for by the same people, it is infinitely more effective than a bunch of individuals trying to do their own thing. Because at the end, you'll end up with vastly different products as opposed to the one common goal that you set out to execute in the beginning. So why is that important? So even in your personal life, surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, who you can trust, are gonna be honest with you, but also propel you in the direction that you desire to go. And in a professional setting, obviously similar, but the coworkers that you surround yourself with will be striving for the mission of the company. And if you align with that as well, you obviously go incredibly far, as opposed to a whole bunch of talented individuals who have their own idea of what the company should be, and then eventually fall in shambles.